Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we go racing here at Daytona for both the Xfinity Series as well as the Cup Series. And in the Cup Series side of things, we will be finishing off the regular season here and deciding a regular season champion, which is already actually decided. That will be me this season. So we did clinch the regular season championship in the last episode, but obviously we still have to decide the 16 driver playoff grid, and it will remain the same unless we get some surprise winner that is inside the top 30 in points here today in Daytona. But first up, we come to the, through to the Xfinity Series here, where we had Denny Hamlin in the number 20 star car for today's episode now, as he would get underway from the very back of the field. Of course, now as a few drivers failed inspection and whatnot and had issues, so they had to start behind Hamlin, so he would actually move up by about 3 positions. But he was aggressive right off the bat, trying to make up some ground as he went down into turn 1 up the inside there of that 90 car through turns 1 and 2, and you can see already a bit of a checkup there as he came through the center of the corner. So he was making up ground right off the bat here as it came through out of turn 2. Just the main goal to stay on that bottom lane here in Daytona, and it always seems to get you to the front of the pack no matter what. Now is the kind of the goal in the Cup Series though, is we have 4 wins this regular season. We would love to make it 5 going into the playoffs here with a win today in Daytona, but we're definitely going to get aggressive, get up to that outside if we need to, and just try to make some aggressive moves and do whatever we got to do to get to the front instead of just being boring and running on the bottom the whole time. Now as Denny, he was coming through now a little bit later in this race, and he had moved his way towards the actual top 20 now, closing in on a top 10 position as he came through down into turn 1. This was actually now on the final lap already in Daytona now, as he had come through to the inside of the 89 of Landon Castles. They're 3 wide just in front of him as he exits turn 2, going down this back straightaway for the final time here in Daytona. Right on that left rear quarter panel of the 44 of Tommy Joe Martin, some contact made there as he's up the inside of the 9 of Zane Smith into turn 3 for the final time here in Daytona. Todd Gilliland, another rookie there just up in front, as David Starr was leading the way out of turns 4, and he was going to come through to win the race here in Daytona. So a surprise winner on the Xfinity Series side of things to already start off this episode, as Hamlin comes through to unfortunately not finish in the top 10 here in the Daytona 250 now, as he comes through to finish in the 14th position. So there you see the now finishing order. David Starr with the victory. Ross Chastain came up just short there, runner up in that 2nd position. We got Zane Smith, Todd Gilliland there, 15th and 13th. And then we check out the bottom part of the order with Alfredo down in 30th. And then in 36th we got Jesse Little. So now though, it is time to come through into the Cup Series side of things and decide the playoff grid here at the regular season finale. Daytona as a regular season finale did not disappoint in real life, and hopefully it will not disappoint here in the game today. Now as we would get underway for our qualifying lap, knowing I'm going to qualify in the back, I actually put up the tire pressures as far as they could to just get whatever we can out of the car, and it probably was not going to work. So we come through into turn 3 and 4 on our qualifying attempt. We know we're going to be qualifying at the back of the field, and sure enough we come through to cross the line here way off of the goal by over a second, so we call it there, and we will qualify at the very back of the field here in last position of 40th. So not the, of course, position we want to be in, but we're used to it by now after like 3 games, so we now have to just set our sights going forwards now. As you see the rest of the order on your screen, on pole, it's the 23 car of Bubba Wallace, so very cool to see him. You see a lot of underdogs actually up there in the mix now, as that 23 car not going to be an underdog next season, especially now as we get ready to go green for the Coke Zero Sugar 400 at Daytona. It's been an incredible regular season so far. A lot of silly season news has been coming out. There's still a few more announcements on the way. One very large one, one relatively small one that you guys will have to keep an eye out for in the playoffs. Now, as I was going to announce them earlier, but just didn't work out with the timing there, as you see Denny Hamlin, he failed optical scanning station multiple times. He's starting at the back, and so is Michael McDowell, who failed technical inspection, and Cole Custer, that the 41 team, had to replace his transmission, and they will also start at the back of the field for the Coke Zero 400 at Daytona. It's been a great regular season, guys. Let's end it with a victory. There you heard myself quickly on the radio now as the green flag is out, and we are underway for the Coke Zero 400, the regular season finale. Bubba Wallace leads the way as we are now green as we go down towards the turn 1. Would love to end this regular season with win number 5 on the season, but you got a driver like Denny Hamlin or Brad Keselowski, maybe Kyle Busch as well, who could actually be able to tie our current most wins on the season of 4 if they are able to pick up a victory here tonight now, as we're up that inside of the 2 of Keselowski on the exit of turn 2. Kyle Larson on my my outside, a future teammate of ours, as we know he will be going to HMS next season in the career mode as well, driving that number 5 car sponsored by HendrickCars.com, which once Renato has a paint scheme made, I cannot wait for you guys to see that one, as I'm sure it's going to be a very nice paint scheme as we go down into turn 3 of the inside of that 49 of Chad Fincham, already making some 3 wide moves as we come through out of turn 4, still 3 wide here with Chad Fincham now, as we have Kyle Larson on the far outside as we come through to complete this first lap here tonight in Daytona, as the 32 of Corey LaJoie, he's already taken the lead away from Bubba Wallace there in that number 23 car as we go down towards turns 1, back up the inside now of Brad Keselowski, just behind our affiliate teammate of Christopher Bell, who will be replacing us in the 20 car next season in the career mode. He won earlier this season at Phoenix. We actually finished runner-up to him in that very race, had a chance to beat him. Unfortunately, couldn't quite make it happen, but Bell, he will be in the playoffs this season here in that 95 car. I don't really expect to see that 95 car go very far in the playoffs. I honestly think that Christopher Bell here is going to be a first round elimination, but of course anything can happen. Maybe they'll get something going for the playoffs, but I definitely don't see them going very far with that 95 team. So we come through to lap 4 now, stage 1. We had actually jumped up to the outside lane on that right hand side of the 95 of Christopher Bell and right to the back of Chase Elliott. Now as I go around the outside of him, making it 3 wide down this back straightaway towards turns 3, and we make it work very well. I actually passed our future teammate of Elliott, the 2-time winner this season from Sonoma as well as Kentucky, looking to make it 3 here today, as Elliott, always very strong at plate tracks, doesn't really necessarily have the amount of wins you would expect for a driver that's already so strong at a track like this, but definitely I'm sure he's going to pick up a Daytona win sooner or later now as we go down this front straightaway, now hooked up with the 17 of Chris Buescher. He's had a couple chances this season to win his way into the playoffs, and unfortunately came up short every time now as we come through 3 wide in the middle between our 2 affiliate teammates of Bell as well as Burton there as we came through out of turns 2, going down this backstretch right there, still connected with the 17 of Buescher, but I would leave him and drop back down behind Bell here on lap 5 as we came through out of turn 4, running in the 23rd position. So definitely not really making that outside work very well, so I just felt like we had to get back down, so we came through, heading down this back straightaway, up the now inside of Bell down the back stretch on lap 8, trying to make a 3 wide move, and it did not work at all as we go down towards turn 3, so I have to settle back in behind the 95 as we got the 88 of Eric Jones just behind myself now as we come through turns 3, up the inside of that 77 of Noah Gragson, so we're closing in now on a top 10 position here as we go down into the trial. We're coming to already 3 laps to go here in stage 1. Joey Logano was now leading this race now, as we've had no shortage of run-ins with Logano to say the least lately, and he is only 1 bar away from being a rival, so you could really just say he's just 1 bit of contact away from being a rival as a caution comes out here with 3 laps to go on the stage, and that ends stage 1 early. Logano will pick up the stage victory, so playoff point to Joey Logano, who has picked up a couple wins this season, most recently at New Hampshire Speedway or Motor Speedway, and now we will get ready to go green here for the second stage, as obviously no changes really need to be made to the car, so we will get ready to enter the pit lane here in P14 as we look through the order right now. Hamlin down there in P24 didn't quite work his way through the field as well as we did. Martin Truex Jr. down in 39th, but Quinn Houff, he was the reason for the caution, and I can confirm that would be the end of his race, as he would be a DNF now, as we would gain 1 spot on the pit lane, overtaking Christopher Bell here and getting ready to go green from P13. Alex Bowman in that 48 car just in front of us, and Alex Bowman, as we start the second stage, is the driver most at risk right now, as actually the car does not go for me at all there, so we have to pull off the track, get out of the way, assuming we ran into somebody when the caution came out, because the car just did not launch at all, so we just lost a ton of track position here as we go down into turn 1, so a lot of that ground we made up in stage 1 completely wiped as we're in the bottom half of the 20s, going almost down to 30th place as Harrison Burton gets to my outside. But I was just noting Alex Bowman, he is in the most dangerous position right now, the last driver in the playoffs on points, and if someone outside or inside the top 30 in points but outside of the playoffs wins, well, Alex Bowman will be out of the playoffs, and unfortunately he has really no chance to get anybody else on points. So it's very unfortunate for Bowman in the situation he's in, but as long as we don't get a surprise winner, Bowman will be comfortably inside the playoffs without any issues at all as we come through into this trial, completing that first lap of the stage. We came through now to lap 3 of stage 2, still right behind that 13 of Ty Dillon, only in P25 of the inside of Bubba Wallace there in that 23XI Racing team as we come through out of turn 2. Now looking for an opportunity to maybe go up the inside of the 13, but I saw there were 3 wide right in front of us, so I didn't think it was going to work out very well. So I just kind of chilled behind him here for the time being as we go down toward turn 3. Corey LaJoie, he still found himself up front, but it was now Ryan Newman who would take the lead on lap 4 of this race. And Newman in his final season of the career mode in a must-win situation to get into the playoffs. Last season in the career mode, he won this very race, so never count Ryan Newman out at this point here as we come through out of turn 2. Now at the inside of the 41 of Cole Custer, getting aggressive, closing in on back the top 20 as we go down this back straightaway. Brendan Gaughan backed out of that just behind us now as he is also in his final season of the career mode along with Ryan Newman, David Reagan, as well as Kurt Busch. So 4 drivers at the end of the season will be calling it a career here in our NASCAR Heat 5 career mode now, as Kurt Busch is the only one of those 4 in the playoffs right now as he's picked up a victory this season as we come through the Tribal. Now inside the top 20, passing Eric Jones, getting up the inside of Matt DiBenedetto as we go down towards turn 1 behind that 17 of Chris Buescher here on lap 5 of 13 in the second stage. So making a lot of progress quickly, and we would continue on now following that 17, got up the inside of the 10 of Almirola as we came through into the Tribal. And we were just making a bunch of ground up now as we're also going to be able to pass Ryan Blaney here and get ourselves into the top 10. And immediately I'm looking for a chance to get up the inside of the 17. Couldn't quite make it happen there into turn 1 now. As you see in the rear view mirror, we got Almirola right behind us, Alex Bowman in the background on that outside as we're up the inside of LaJoie as well, passing him. So we're now up into P9. We were 3 wide with Kevin Harvick and his teammate of Chase Briscoe as we came to the start lap 8 of the stage. And Ryan Newman was still out front leading this thing. So Newman doing everything he needs to be doing right now if he wants to make it into the playoffs. Now as we go down towards turns 1 behind that 17 of Buescher, we just kind of followed Buescher from what the mid-teens, about 16th to 17th I think it was, all the way up here to now P5 as we try to look to the inside of Buescher, but no help at all from in front of us. Everybody up by the wall as that a little bit of contact with that 77 of Gregson here as we go down towards turn 3. Newman, Stenhouse, Elliott, Buescher, then myself are the top 5 currently here as we come through turn 3 right on that back of the 17. So Ryan Newman just hoping it kind of stays this way, but I'll get a big run on Buescher down the backstretch now on lap 9, so I immediately slice to the inside and get side by side with him. Still not a lot of help, but fortunately the drivers in front of me drop to the bottom, including Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who gets up the inside now of the 6 of Newman. So Newman, not what he wanted to have happen at all, and he is going to now give up the lead to Ricky Stenhouse, as we know, a driver that's always aggressive at plate races. Chase Elliott gets down to that bottom as well. I decide to stick with Elliott, who is going to be a future teammate of ours, so you know what, we might as well start getting used to working with our future teammates as well as we go down towards turn 1 up that inside of that 6 car of Newman. So now Elliott into second and myself into the 3rd position here as we come through out of turn 2. And now we had a draft partner from behind of the 17 Stenhouse. He goes all the way to the top, but now it is a 3-car trio going down this back straightaway, all connected now as Buescher is a little bit disconnected, but we get up the inside of that 47 of Stenhouse into turn 3, and we now push Chase Elliott out in front here in Daytona with just about 4 laps to go, coming to 3 laps to go in this second stage. But I wasn't just going to ride behind Chase Elliott, so we come through out of turn 4 now on lap 11, coming to 2 laps to go. We get up the inside there. Fortunately, he does not cover it very well, so it was a great opportunity for myself, and with help from the 17 of Chris Buescher, we are now going to be pushed to the lead here in Daytona. So Elliott now, unfortunately, he was hung out on the very top, so he was losing a ton of ground very quickly as you see him falling already outside of like the top 5 as he's got basically no help at all. Like I said, as we come through leading the way down this back straightaway with a lap and a half to go here in the second stage, as I was just hoping that we could just kind of cover these lanes and maybe it was going to stay single file, but immediately you see it does not stay single file very long, as now the 17 is on that outside leading with Elliott behind him, but they would actually drift backwards as we came to start the final lap now of stage 2. We were leading the way out of turns 2. Almirola just behind us. I see a big move from the outside, but I go down to cover the 10 car just because I saw the run he had, and now the 17 of Buescher with help from Chase Elliott. It's going to get to my outside as we go down towards turn 3. Now 3 wide behind us between Almirola, McDowell, and Elliott, but a big push coming from behind from that 10 of Almirola, and he is going to push me back out in front of that 17 of Chris Buescher as we exit turn 4, and it looks like now if we can just hang on for a few more seconds, we will be able to win stage 2 as we come through into the Tribal. Almirola doesn't even try to pass us. We come through to cross the line, winning the second stage here in Daytona. So a very solid stage effort now as we were in the mid-20s at the end of that first lap in stage 2. Oh, good stuff, guys. A nice extra playoff point to get before we go into the playoffs. Hopefully we can pick up another few of them here with a race victory. There you heard myself on the radio, just saying a nice stage win overall now as we get ready to go green for what will be the third and final stage. Very easy call on the pit lane, 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 tires, and we come out still leading the race now. Myself and Eric Almirola will lead the field back to the green flag as the third and final stage of the regular season is underway. Just 13 laps remain, and fortunately for us this time the car actually goes off the restart, so we don't have to worry about pulling out of the way for the traffic now. As Almirola, though, very subpar restart for him. He is already getting cleared almost by the 32 of Corey LaJoie, and I don't believe Corey LaJoie is in the top 20 or top 30 in points, so if LaJoie wins this race, he would actually not make the playoffs. Alex Bowman therefore would still be safe, but I look in my rearview mirror and immediately see a driver like Ryan Preece trying to make that outside line work, and if he wins, he very well might get in the playoffs now as we go down toward turn 3 here, leading the way, just hoping that we can just maintain. But now you see we have a bit of a gap to second place, which was a little bit of a concern here as we come through out of turn 4, getting ready to maybe have to make quite the block here on that 32 of LaJoie, and sure enough, he tries to go to the outside. I cover it off very well, and Cole Custer has now gotten up into the mix. Custer in a must-win situation as well to get into the playoffs now, as we've just had enough surprise winners to put drivers like William Byron as well as Cole Custer on the outside looking in here in Daytona now, as William Byron really has not been a factor at all tonight, and as you guys know, we will be replacing him next season in the career mode with Razor as our primary sponsor, along with NZXT and Pepsi, as well as Spotify as an alternate now, as the 37 of Ryan Preece. So he's now got to run to our outside here. I was thinking about covering it off, but I wanted to make sure we had that bottom just kind of secure now as we come through the middle of turn 3 and 4. But that 37 of Preece had help from the 34 of Michael McDowell, so they actually weren't losing too much ground as we're still side by side going down this front straightaway, coming through to 11 laps to go. And at this point, down the back straightaway, they would get linked up even better again than myself and LaJoie. The 37 now clear of me as we go down towards turn 3, but the caution comes out at a terrible time with 11 laps to go. We were down in the third position, just barely behind that 34 as the yellow flag came out. So now you see it looks like it might be for Ryan Blaney, who is coming into the pit lane here. That was some bad timing for the caution. Honestly, I thought we could have got the lead there by the time we came out of turn 4. There you heard myself on the radio, just disappointed about the timing of that now as we're going to be lining up now on row number 2 when I felt like we would have easily got up the inside of that 37 and taken the lead back. Now as the green flag is back out, and it will be just 8 laps to go here in Daytona. Behind us we got the 41 of Cole Custer now, as hopefully he will be able to get linked up to our back bumper really quickly, as he's got his 2 Stewart-Haas teammates of Kevin Harvick as well as Eric Almirola just behind him as we go down into turn 1. Less than 10 laps to go here in the regular season finale. Brendan Gaughan even finds himself now up in the mix a little bit, as he's actually being taken 3 wide by the 9 of Chase Elliott. Kyle was following Elliott nearly, but he actually slides in behind the 62 of Brendan Gaughan. You see, I have no help in front of us now. Zerl on the outside again, but the 4 of Harvick comes through to give me a huge push as we go down toward turn 3 up that inside of the 41 of Custer. But now you see LaJoie and McDowell, they have kind of gotten linked up to that little bit of a tandem draft as we come through out of turn 4, coming through to 7 laps to go in Daytona. And I have a huge run on the back of the 37 of Ryan Preece, so immediately I see a hole. I go for the middle, and it is clearly not working here as we go down the front straightaway, so I slide in behind that 37 of Preece, who's actually going to go to the top here on the outside now as we go down into turn 1. We have more help again coming from the back from Kevin Harvick, who's going to get right to our back bumper. I clipped the apron a little bit, made a bit of a mistake now as we're going to try to look to the inside of the 37 of Ryan Preece and take that lead back over as we go down this back straightaway. Very even right now with that 37 in terms of speed. Down the back straightaway, Harvick is on my back bumper. Nobody's on the back bumper of the 37, so I was very impressed how that 37 was just able to maintain with us here as we come through the center of 3 and 4. But finally, it comes into effect with that help from Harvick that we cleared the 37 of Preece, and we are now back out in front here in Daytona as we come through to just 6 laps to go. And then sure enough, the 37 through turns 1 and 2 on lap 35 would battle bang to our outside with help from the 34, and he blows right by us here as we come through down the backstretch. And even the 34 of McDowell nearly is able to get past as we come through, getting close to his quarter panel, side drafting him as we go down into turn 3 with continuous help, thankfully, from that 4 of Kevin Harvick. No matter what, at this point, we owe Harvick a big thank you. He has been a big role in keeping us in the mix here today in Daytona as we go down this front straightaway once again, trying to get to the inside of the 37 of Ryan Preece. race, but it does not work there as I'm trying to maybe just go to the outside and then maybe fake him out and then dive back down to the bottom as we come through to just 5 laps to go. Immediately we dive to the inside. It's not going to work now as we lose Harvick as a draft partner. That's a bit of an issue as we go down into turn 1, trying to close that gap back up and clear the 4 car so we can get linked back up with them. And now it's the 12 car of Ryan Blaney goes spinning through turns 1 and 2. Larson and Bubba Wallace involved in the caution comes out with 5 laps to go here in Daytona, and this will force a 2-lap dash to decide the regular season finale. Oh, that sucks, guys. I thought we were going to be able to get him, and now we're going to be restarting on the outside, so that's going to be tough, but I'll do everything I can for you. There you heard us once again on the radio now as we're going to get ready for a 2-lap dash here in Daytona. Ryan Preece looking for the victory, which could change everything with the playoff picture now as we are ready to get underway as the green flag is out. 2 laps remaining here in the regular season finale. Kevin Harvick and Eric Almirola on row number 2 now as we're hoping that Almirola is going to be able to link up with us quickly, but immediately you see the 4 car. He's right on the back of the 37 and there's a whole car length or so between myself and Almirola, but now it looks like it's kind of shifting a little bit because Almirola is going to get to the back of me and now Harvick, he's still right glued to the 37 though, so it's very even as we come through the center of turns 1 and 2 as we exit the corner. A lap and a half to go here in the Coke Zero 400 at Daytona International Speedway. McDowell down there about 3rd in line on the bottom. He's looking to get a win here as well in Daytona, but he would not get in the playoffs. He's not in the top 30 in points here as we come through turns 3 and 4, but I'm doing my best to make sure the 37 doesn't win this race because I would like to see my future teammate of Alex Bowman make the playoffs now as he deserves it way more than the 37 of Ryan Preece. We're side by side coming through to start the final lap here in Daytona though as Preece almost got the advantage, but we got help from Almirola. A big push from him as we go down towards turns 1 side by side still with that 37, but we lose Almirola now as we go into turn 1 and now we have to rely on Harvick, but that breaks up everything here as now McDowell, he looks to the inside of Harvick, 3 wide behind us as we have a big push hopefully coming here from the 4 car down the back straightaway for the final time here in Daytona as now we have a big run on the back of that 37 of Ryan Preece. We dive to the inside here looking for a 5th win on the season as we go down into turn 3 on this final lap in the Coke Zero 400. Myself and Preece side by side even as we come through out of turn 4, the 34 closing now as I'm going to try and run the 37 up the track, and as that happens McDowell, he gets up the inside 3 wide for the lead coming to the finish right on that quarter panel of the 37, and McDowell comes through to win in Daytona at the last moment now over Ryan Preece, and what was about a half a car length between all of them as we come through here to finish in the 3rd position in Daytona. What a finish, and honestly that saved Alex Bowman at the last moment because McDowell is not in the top 30, and like I said, I did not want the 37 to win, and we made it happen there is because I wanted Bowman in the playoffs, and I was doing everything I could to make sure he didn't win, and I almost sacrificed myself as honestly McDowell just kind of caught me off guard there on the bottom. But now we have a post-race interview here to do with Jay Cook.
You came up just short of the win tonight, Gary, but you have won the regular season championship. What is your goal in the playoffs?
Same goal as the regular season, to be honest with you, Jay. Just go win the championship overall now. It's gonna be a tough playoff, of course, but we have a lot more playoff points this season than we did last season, so I'm confident we can make the Final Four, unless we have just some weird issue, but I don't think that's going to happen. At least I hope not, and hopefully we can be on the nice side of the 22 of Joey Logano, so we don't have to worry about him, but I'm confident that we can come out of this season as a champion here in just our 2nd season to round it out, or finish it off nicely with this 20 team before I head over to HMS next season. Alright, there you heard the post-race interview between myself and Jay Cook. The regular season is officially has come to an end now, as we're going to check out the playoff standings here on the Cup Series side. We still have the regular season to finish off in the Xfinity Series, though. But there you see Logano still angry with us, 1 bar away from being a rival. So like I said earlier, really, if we just run into the 22 car the wrong way one more time, we're definitely going to have a rival here for the playoffs. And I don't want that because we have yet to have a rival here in the career mode, and we are, almost 90 episodes or so into this career mode. So very surprising there. As you see, we are seed number 1 in the playoffs, 34 points above the cut line going into Darlington. Darlington always going to be a tricky one, so we'll see what is going to happen there. As I did not actually get a custom throwback for that one because we kind of focused on getting all the paint schemes ready for next season as we kind of had a bit of a change of plans. So I'll just see what we can do for that. I don't even know if there's a throwback for the 20 car, but I'll look into that now. As you see, Alex Bowman, though, makes it in the playoffs. He's last driver in, 6 points below the cut line. Blaney, Eric Jones, and DeBenedetto all come into this round below the cut line now, as you see the order. So now Ryan Preece would have indeed made the playoffs if he won that race, but McDowell was able to steal it away from him. Preece was 30th in points, so he was in that last spot available to get in. But that will do it for this episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch this episode. In the next one, we start the playoffs at Darlington. Very excited for that. And just before we go, I'd like to say a thank you to all of our members of MJ, RJ, Aiden, Eric, and Dylan, as well as Joseph 9001. So thank you guys as well, and I'll see you guys in the next one for the start of the playoffs. Have a great day, everybody.